Hi everybody, and welcome to the Ultimate 8-Week Challenge nutrition videos. This is week 4, and we'll be talking about carbohydrates. So carbohydrates, there's 2 main carbohydrates in your foods that you need to know about. There's the simple carbohydrates, and then there's the complex ones. The simple carbohydrates are all of your sugars. So if you're thinking glucose, which is how your body carries sugars around in the blood, so that's your glucose. Then you've got sucrose, which is your table sugar. That's something you want to avoid too much of. And the same goes for your fructose. Fructose is all of the sugars that come from your fruits. So you want to have a couple of pieces of fruit per day, but you certainly don't want to overdo it. Okay, so they're all your simple carbohydrates. Then you move into your complex carbohydrates. Now these are the ones that you want to eat more of. Okay, so your complex carbohydrates are starches and fibre. So they're plant sources, so any of your vegetables. And if you have seeds and grains with the seed intact, okay, so it's still got its shell on, they're great for you because they help to slow the digestive system, and it also helps to get you more nutrients out of your food. Okay, so your complex carbohydrates are the way to go. Glycogen is also another complex carbohydrate. Now glycogen is how your body stores all of your carbohydrates. So it'll break it down into glucose, and then it'll store it as glycogen in your liver and in your muscles. Okay, so if you want plenty of energy for your workouts, make sure you eat plenty of those complex carbohydrates. So why are carbs given such a bad rap in the media? There's a couple of reasons for that. So one is their effect on your blood sugar levels. Okay, so what happens is if you take in a lot of simple sugars, your blood sugar level rises really quickly. Your body then produces insulin, and that insulin is supposed to take that sugar and move it into the cells or the liver for your energy needs. But what happens if you don't eat regularly, your blood sugar levels come dropping back down, okay, and that's where you get that nasty feeling at 3 o'clock in the afternoon where you're craving some simple sugars, okay? So that's one of the reasons that carbs gets a bad rap. The other one is that carbs can lead indirectly to fat storage, okay? So if you've maxed out your glycogen stores and you're full of energy and you continue to have those lots of carbohydrates, those lots of sugars, what will happen is that your body, in your liver, it takes those extra sugars, it converts them into fat, and then it stores it all over the body, okay? So they're the 2 main reasons that carbs are given a bad rap. However, carbs are your energy source, and they're what you're using every day for your workout. So it's all about timing, it's all about the right carbs, so don't cut carbs out of your diet. So what are the types of foods that you need to eat to get all of those good complex carbohydrates and some of those good simple sugars in? Basically you want to just stick to vegetables, fruits, legumes, basically anything with seeds, grains, that type of thing. Okay, they're all going to be great for you for the complex carbohydrates. The fruits that you want to try to stick to are your apples, okay, because they're much lower GI, so they're going to just release that sugar slowly into your bloodstream. So your apples, your berries are your super foods, superfoods they are. Berries are superfoods because they're hugely high in antioxidants. They've got some good simple sugars for you, but they've got lots of vitamins and minerals. So get into your berries, they're going to be spectacular for you. Berries, you've got your nectarines, your peaches, and your pears, okay? So of your fruits, they're probably the best ones to stick with. And just as a bit of an indicator too, so that you know how much you're having, basically 1 peach would have about 26 grams of carbohydrates. So we're going to move into a little bit later how much to have, but 26 grams in 1 peach, that'll just give you a bit of an idea on how much carbohydrates in a piece of fruit. So how much should you consume? That's the burning question. So this is our recommended dietary allowance. You should be having around 4 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. Okay, so I'm roughly 70 kilos. So for me, my whole daily intake will be about 280 grams. Okay, 70 kilos times that 4 grams per kilogram of body weight. So each day I need to take 280 grams in, and once again, the majority of the carbohydrates that I should be eating are your whole grains, your cereals, and all of your starches and fibery foods, okay? So stick to those and have less of those simple sugars, and you'll be on the right track. So as I was saying before, timing of your carbohydrates, very, very important, okay? So the timing that you want to do is you want to get most of your carbohydrates in the first half of the day, okay? So breakfast should be predominantly carbs. You're looking at your morning snack, should also be predominantly carbs, something like a piece of fruit is fine. Then when you move on to your lunchtime, that's like a good mixture. You should have 50-50, should be some carbs in that. So like a ham salad sandwich, that's a regular sort of lunch. You've got good carbs, you've got some protein, and then lots of vitamins and minerals from your salad. Then when you move on to an afternoon snack, this is when you start to back off on your carbohydrates and you focus more on your proteins, okay? So your afternoon snack, more protein based. And then when you get to dinner, you want to try to avoid too often having your big pasta dishes and your big rice dishes. If you're going to, go for the brown options, okay? Remember, the whiter the bread, the quicker you're dead. So go the brown options, brown rice and pasta, whole grains, that type of thing would be great. So make sure you stick to that timing. So get your carbs in earlier in the day and then back them off during the afternoon, okay? The last point I want to make is if you're an endurance athlete, we've got some people in here who are doing long sessions. They do ultra marathons and things like that. Endurance athletes can up their intake up to 6 to 7 grams per day. Okay, so most of us should be fine with about the 4 grams per kilogram body weight per day. But our endurance athletes, those who are doing more than an hour of an activity per day, you guys can maybe up your carbohydrate intake. But remember, get it from the complex carbohydrates, not the simple ones, and your training will benefit. Cheers. So thanks again for tuning in. Once again, I hope you got a little bit of good information that you can use practically for your training. And carbohydrates is an important one. So if there are any questions, make sure that you post the questions down underneath, and we'll do our best to get back to them really quickly so we can solve any of those questions that you have. Make sure you stay tuned in for next week. Next week we're going to be discussing fats. That's another important issue, so make sure you tune back in then. Thanks very much.